Hey and welcome back. Have you ever wondered how the player move in the games? Let's have a quick look. So in this tutorial I'm gonna show you how to create the script to move your player around, going left, right, up and down. So let's jump to the nitty, and first I will create some folder to get some assets. I'll bring the player and something for the background. I will use the asset from my last game. So first I create the quick background. And now we put our player in the scene, and if you don't see the player, you need to go to the sorting layer and check order in the layer to have him on the front from the author's object you have on the back. So now I will prepare some script. So you need to go create script, and I will just call it player move. Before I add the script, I create for the player collider and rigid body. You don't need maybe collider in this case, but I will make in the next video some score system, so we'll need that collider to get some coins and add the score to the game. So edge collider you can of course edit if you go to the edit options and make it suit your player. In this case I use the capsule collider and I just make some position for it to look better. And important, if you make the player movement, you need the rigid body for it. Because it's 2D, you need to put the rigid body 2D, not the normal one, because the normal one is for the 3D games. In this case I use kinematic, not dynamic, because if you use the dynamic there will be some gravity or you need to freeze some position so the player won't fall down with the gravity. So now I will add the script and let's just open it. I just scale it up so it will be suit the better view for us. And like always, I always remove the green lines, which just tell you what the start doing and update. So first we need get some speed for players, so I will make that serialized field instead of public or private, so you can see it in the inspector and can change it anywhere, anytime you want. And just let's make it walk speed and let's say 2f. If you use the float, you need to add that f at the end. If you use the int, you'll just write the number. So now we have in the inspector on the right the capsule collider and rigid body. We need to get that. So if you use author collider, so you instead of write capsule collider 2D like I write here, you just give the name of the collider you use, let's say box collider or circle collider, and after that you need to give the name for the collider you're gonna use. After that we add some rigid body and we'll call it simple player RB, and now we need to get the access for that. So we need to write in the start the name of the collider or rigid body we give. So player collider will be get component, and now we write the collider we use, so capsule collider 2D. And just simple like that we close that, and now we need to do the same for the rigid body. So we need to get component, write the rigid body 2D, and close like. And now whenever the game or application will start, and when you have attached the script to the player, so on the first thing when you start the game, on that will be read it and get the component from your object, and you can use that in the future. So now we need to make some methods. I will call it walk, and first we need to get some input which we're gonna use to move left and right, up and down. Let's start with the left and right. So because we're gonna move on the X and Y axis, so you need to use the float. So I'll just call it control walk. And now we need to get some input, so whatever you press on the keyboard and where you want to move. So we'll get the axis and write horizontal. I will explain you on the end of the video what that means for you, what that means, which keyboard you will be used to move the horizontal, and where you can change that for the buttons you would like to have to use. So after that, because to do the game, you need to get some vector 2 and give it name for this. I will just call it player velocity, left, right, just L and R. And now we need to create the new vector, and in the vector you need to give the two position for the X and for the Y. So the first X for us will be the control walk. So we'll get the input, whatever you press, and we need to multiply that with some speed. So we will have the walk speed, which we give on the begin. And after that, we just write the player rigid body velocity Y. So because we don't want to change that, we just want to have it like it is. And now we need to write player rigid body RB velocity, and our player rigid body velocity will be equal vector we just create. So we need to call that vector, so it's equal player velocity LR. So let's save that and check in the game if it's working. Maybe not the game, but just the simple script and the play we have. And like you see now, nothing working because I forget one thing. The method won't work if you don't put it in the update. So you want to make sure you write the method in the and put it on the update. So each time it will be read in the application or game, whatever you make. So now it's working and we can move left and right. So next things, we're gonna need to make similar code to move up and down. But instead of copy that and change it, will be better if I just write it again and explain the difference. So at the start, we as well need to give some float and the input which we're gonna use to move up and down. So this time I'll write control walk up and down. And our input will be get axis and vertical in this case. And like we make the move left and right, we need to as well write the new vector. So just write the player velocity UD. So it will be short name from the up and down. And now we need to create the vector, and like in the first case we write the control or X, this time we need the control on the Y. So first write the player velocity X and we don't change anything because we wanna move on the Y axis. So now we need to write the control walk up and down, so it's our input, and we need to get the speed for it as well. So it'll be multiply with the speed. And now we need to write player RB velocity equal our vector, so player velocity UD. Now simple save, and we should walk up and down, left and right. Let's test it. So everything working. So now player can move up and down, left and right, wherever you want. So let's back and see what that input means. So if you go for that axis, so like have horizontal and vertical, if you go to the edit, project setting, and you have the input. If you go there and just press the V arrow near the axis, and here you have different things you can use for the player mouse, and we use the horizontal. And here you have something like negative button, positive button, alternative negative button, and positive button. So this is tell you which buttons you're gonna use to move the player. You can of course change that, and it's the same for the vertical. So negative button is down, positive is up, A and W. So that's mean this is the buttons you're gonna use if you use the horizontal and vertical movement in the input axis. So hope you enjoy. Leave a like, subscribe, and don't forget to leave the comment. See you next time. Cheers.